You're probably here because you're finding it a little bit difficult in finding your way about leadership, finding your way on how to manage people well, and finding your way on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur. Any one of these things are the topics that we cover. I'm your host, Sean C., aka Mr. CEO at 22. I am so glad that you took the first step of being here to learn more about leadership, entrepreneurship, and management because the world needs more people like you. We will help you to invest in yourself because that's something that is worth doing. That is something that is worth learning. If you have questions about entrepreneurship, maybe you're having problems at work or you're having some leadership problems or managing other people, boy, I have news for you. We have what we call a masterclass. Most of the courses in the masterclass deal with how you can generate revenue online. It deals with leadership, how to lead in crisis, how to break through the crisis in business, in entrepreneurship, and how you can manage other people better. Now, I always say the best kind of investment is an investment in yourself. And how much money are we charging for this masterclass? Not a lot. And if you invest in one, it's yours to keep. And if it doesn't, I'll refund you, no questions asked, full refund. So why don't you try it out? Head on over to sean.c/masterclass and check out any one of the courses if it fits any one of the questions in your head. And if you have any questions, you can just put it on the comment section and we'll get in touch with you. We want to know who you are and we want to hear from you. Until then, keep leading.
All right. Hey guys, good evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. For those of you who are here tonight, I am not going to take more of your time. I'm just going to be sharing with you right now what's happening on the Leadership Stack podcast on Spotify. So if you haven't followed us yet, please do follow us here. We publish 3 episodes a week, and this episode is all about getting out of your head as a leader. This is a story about a virtual assistant and how she grew her business. You might, if you're in the virtual assistant world, or if you're doing some sort of service, a digital marketing service, perhaps these episodes might be the right episodes for you. You might want to tune in there, listen up, and I hope that provides value for you. For tonight, we do have a handful of guests, superstars. I'm just here to host and ask them questions, and I do not think that we need to introduce them. First off is going to be Mr. Billionaire. Mr. Billionaire, Mr. Marvin Germo on the show. Marvin, thank you for being here tonight.
Yung introduction ako ba yun? Guys, fake news. Ang daming fake news. Pupurihin ka na, sabi ko, ang ganda ng intro. Ang ganda nung first 1 minute spiel ng video sa amazing 1 minute intro. So, but everything else after that, yung fake news konti. So, yun lang. Just a deal, guys.
Pero grabe, we're so honored to have you here. So
Oo
honored.
naman, Shansi eh. Titigil ang mundo basta Shansi.
All right, and our next guest would be, and a lot of you know her, who she is. She is on TikTok with hundreds of thousands of followers, Tony Aquino. Thanks, Tony, for being here.
Thank you, Sean, for having me.
Yan, sikat.
Yan, sikat na. Kayo ang sikat.
Marvin, it's okay. So,
Yes, normal
ikaw
lang.
naman yung idol talaga of idols.
Yun, no? Oh, may kakampi ako dito, Marv.
Hindi. So, I'm just palamuti lang.
All right. We're joined by someone who has a ton of experience in real estate, sales and investment, Mr. Ramon King III. There we go. Hi, RK.
Hi, Sean. Good evening.
Good
Good evening,
evening.
Marvin. Master, good evening.
Yun.
Tony, good evening.
All right. And then we are joined by a special guest, the CEO and co-founder of Imperium Empires, a AAA game in Avalanche. And my gosh, they've launched the alpha demo already. And I've actually been able to play it in just 4 months. That is an amazing feat. Cliff, thanks so much for being here and joining us on the show.
Hey Sean, hey everyone. Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Cliff, I hear that you're giving some stuff away tonight.
Yeah. So basically, we have ready some IME token and a special alpha pass.
All right. There we go. So we
So
have opened
where
the
do we give
giveaway
where do we give
already.
our wallet?
Ano yan, ano yan?
Where do we give our wallet address? I'm just kidding.
What do we give our wallet? Ito na. So all you gotta do is put in your emails, and then you guys can get a lot more raffle entries by doing all of the extra stuff there. There's a lot of extra stuff that you can do, such as subscribing on the YouTube channel and so on and so forth. And we're actually going to be picking 6 winners tonight. Tonight. That is at 9:30 p.m. So you got an hour and 23 minutes left. What are we giving away? I think Cliff is giving
Yeah.
away 200
Yeah. So we're gonna
IMEs.
have the IME tokens as well as Sean mentioned before that we already have our pre-alpha demo already out. So we're also gonna giving out the fast pass so that you guys can give it a try for our pre-alpha game demo.
All right. So for those of you who do want to try the demo of Imperium Empires, fast alpha demo, really play the game up to today, what they've been able to develop, please do join the raffle. The link is down there, leadme.ph/giveaway. Do share this giveaway. It's just in the next hour and a half, and that's it. Okay. So what's interesting tonight is that we have all sorts of professions here. So I'm in the digital marketing space. I'm also the host of this podcast. That's as far as I go in terms of my profession and my representation here. Tony is in the financial advisor industry, all about personal finance management and all about finance. And RK is in the real estate, has a lot of background in real estate. And Marvin is the richest guy in the room. And so we are going to be learning from very different perspectives here. No, seriously, si Marvin yung pinakamagaling sa crypto. You guys know that, right? So we have a lot of crypto questions for him tonight. Marv, you spoke in Binance Week in Dubai. How was it?
Yeah, well, it was fun. It's nice to 'cause it was fun for me because a lot of the people that were there were that spoke were mostly Westerners. So it's nice to have someone from at least Southeast Asia to at least represent the crypto community as well. So I was actually there just to attend, and then I don't know how things happened that I was part of the speaking roster also. So
I
it,
think
it
I
was
think they saw your net worth, and that's how they decided.
in ano Shiba Inu tokens. Yeah, yeah. I think in SHIB. Yeah. So the number of commas per SHIB, I think that's the basis. So yeah, out of pity na lang siguro. Yeah.
All right, but seriously speaking, we are here to learn more about crypto. We're here to learn more about play to earn. What's next, right? So we have been moving at an unprecedented crazy pace in Web 3.0. Kailan lang natin narinig Web 3.0? Just, last year, sometime last year. And right now, there's so many games coming up. There's so many tokens coming up. There's so many NFTs coming up that it gets confusing to someone who might be new, and it gets drowning to someone who has been doing this for a while. And what we want to learn is we want to learn from everyone here on what they think is going to be next. So, Cliff, you're the CEO and co-founder of Imperium Empires. I'm sure your head every day is buried in crypto news, in DeFi news, in play to earn. I'm wondering what's next. What are we looking at in the next 2 to 3 years when it comes to play to earn? Is it still going to be as lucrative? Is it still going to be something that can sustain someone's livelihood?
Yeah, I think if you look at the current state of the play to earn space, you can obviously see that there are actually a lot of problems. So, say for example, a lot of the blockchain games out there, they're these kind of click to earn games. So every day you're gonna come in and click a few buttons, and then you're gonna earn your token rewards. but they often require you to put in a pretty sizable upfront investments. So it's just like something that you just gonna not gonna put in the long-term commitment. So basically, it resembles what you do in a DeFi yield farm where you basically just gonna put in your investment, and then you're gonna just look at the how many days you're gonna get your ROI, and then you're gonna cash out all your tokens. And of course, a lot of these NFTs are too expensive. The entry barrier is pretty high. So I think that's all the major problems that I've seen in the what I call GameFi 1.0 space. So I think now the market has kind of taken a backseat about what the kind of future games would be like in terms of GameFi space, having realized that there are these problems. So I think the market is currently in a transitional phase where the next GameFi 2.0 space is actually going to be games that are really fun to play. It's going to be games that involve social elements where not only can you play the game yourself, you can actually also play the game with your friends. And for the tokenomics, in this GameFi 2.0 games, it's also going to be much more long-term sustainable. So the games are going to be focused much more on player retention than player acquisition. And yeah, I think that's definitely going to be the future blockchain games that everyone will see. So these games, the quality of these games are going to resemble the kind of PC games or mobile games that everyone plays on a daily basis. The blockchain is just the underlying infrastructure or architecture that these games are going to be based in. And no one's going to be distinguishing between traditional games and blockchain games anymore. So I think that's the kind of vision that I see in terms of the future of blockchain gaming.
Wow, that's a lot to take in. How about you, Marvin? What do you think? I know that you invested and I invested alongside you in P2E games. Niyaya mo ako nun eh. So ako naman, okay, game. Marvin with the Midas touch.
So Cliff said a lot of amazing stuff already, but I think what will be generally the gist of everything is that games will go back to what it really is. It should be fun. It should be something that people enjoy. It should be something that uh, if the biggest incentive for people to join the game is a monetary incentive, it becomes harder for it to become sustainable later on if the rewards are not as lucrative as what it was before. So if you're looking at the iterations of the newer games that are coming out, similar to what Cliff said, what Imperium Empires is doing also, if you make a triple A game, you make something that people like to play, then they're having fun. That's the biggest utility already of that game. That people play, for example, Mobile Legends or Call of Duty or all of the other games, traditional games that you have there, because they enjoy playing it. They're not paid to do it, but they play it because they like it. So I think who will win over the next few years are games that people like to play. Then I'm playing while I'm playing, I'm actually learning. I'm actually earning as well. So that will be the shift towards it. And like what Cliff also said, I think what's very 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 interesting is when you find whatever token or NFT that's there will be part of the ecosystem. That there will be a greater incentive for people to use it inside as compared to just flipping it into fiat. So I think it will be centric more on how good the game is, how playable it is, and then I'm actually playing and enjoying it, and I get a reward off of it. So something to that effect.
Yeah. And sa'yo, I think ang mga nakaka-addict yung parang mala StarCraft, no?
That's the only game I play right now. I've been trying maybe Imperium Empires because I just got alpha access. So let's see how it actually goes with it.
Reaction video. I want to hear from Tony. Tony, do you invest in play to earn games?
Well, I have not played myself. I did try Axie Infinity, though I didn't get deeper into the game. So for those who have not seen me yet before, I usually make content. And when I make content about crypto or any product or service platform that I'd want to discuss, of course, I'd want to try and test it myself. So, like, definitely, I've seen the potential in the industry, especially if you are considered tech savvy. You'd see how this industry would revolutionize gaming in itself, because back then traditional games usually follow more of a pay to win, just like what Marvin was saying, where the only way you could really be above the other players is if you pay for upgrades, right? But now you actually get financial incentives. So it allowed a lot of people, especially during the time of the pandemic, to make a living out of it. So it's really interesting how it's been booming, especially here in the Philippines. Right? Wouldn't you agree, RK?
Ayan.
Definitely,
I
I
segue.
agree. But
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yes, Sean.
Gone invested in play to earn? What do you think about it?
RK
Yeah,
will
I had
reveal
my.
his three verse. Just kidding.
Nako, spinoil mo na, Master Marvin. But yeah, I had my fair share of investments when it comes to play to earn. In fact, I've been unfortunate enough to invest in one of the. I won't mention the name of the game, but this was earlier last year around July. I unfortunately invested in one play to earn game that has this popular Japanese characters, no anime, and then they just put the mask on the face. But the reason why I invested in it is because I heard that you'd be able to get the return on your investment in just a span of 2 to 3 days. So I tried it out, and then after a week, the game went down the drain. The value of the coin went down. A lot of Filipinos, were burned by that game. So right now, I guess the play to earn scene has evolved so quickly, and I agree with what Cliff has mentioned earlier that we need to focus more on player retention rather than acquisition because the problem I think what Axie Infinity the biggest P2E right now encountered is the inflationary scheme that their token had to go through, right? So right now you look at their token, the value of Axie Infinity has gone down the drain, and people who are invested in that game are still waiting for the next upgrade, waiting for the release of the next version so that in the hopes that the value of the coin will continue to rise. But I guess moving forward, we need to focus more on player retention, making sure that the people who play the game actually enjoys playing it, and at the same time they earn from it, right? Um, and I'm quite surprised that a triple A rated game such as your game, Cliff, is already in the alpha stage right now, alpha access, because just last year, I don't know if you've heard of Star Atlas. It was one of the highly anticipated games in the Solana network, and people were investing left and right, but they didn't have a real timeline as to when the game will be released, and it was highly dubbed as a triple A rated game. And I guess the metaverse where the Imperium Empires will likely fall into in terms of category similar to Star Atlas, and I'm really excited to see how your game will unfold. And if what you say is true, then I really have high hopes when it comes to player retention. So I'm looking forward to that.
Ayan, mag-i-invest na si RK, oh, 'di ba?
They yung addition, yung advantage ng Imperium Empires versus Star Atlas is they have Cliff Young for Imperium Empires. I think that's their unique selling proposition. Yeah. You have
Yeah, I
Romano
think
Lawrence.
Star Alice is just kind of aiming for the too difficult kind of game that you can develop in maybe under 5 years time. Because if you look at they what they do is actually similar to a game called Star Citizen. So that's not a blockchain game. So there is kind of like a Kickstarter project started back in 2012. They actually raised a whopping like 400 mil USD throughout the 10 years. But 10 years in the making, they have like 600 devs in the game company. But still, they I think they are also in alpha stage. But it took them 10 years to do that. So
Wow.
that's why it's inherently difficult to do like a first person view open world game with because they're also doing like a space theme. If you look at what they're trying to do, it's it's like a flight simulation game where you have the interior and exterior of the spaceship. So that's gonna take tons of time to do that. So that's why in the outset we are already hyper focused on doing something that is possible, that is practical. It's actually very important for doing like a GameFi, like blockchain gaming project. Time to market is something that everyone really cares about. So if you want to do a project that really spends 5 to 10 years, then I don't think it's actually going to work.
Yeah, actually, that's a very long time, no? Especially, I think what makes people so impatient with the blockchain games is that they actually invested pretty good money, and the hype is just so it's so bad. It's I mean it's so good that it's so bad because a lot of these games kind of like hype it so much that you just expect that they should be out in like a couple of years. But games that are really good, really engaging, really addictive take a lot of time. There's a lot of architecture that goes into it, and then people's interests just kind of fade away, and they start to just you know sell and want to get their money back. And I guess one question, Cliff, that I have for you is, with all of these factors into play, with a lot more people actually having less faith in play to earn, they're having less trust in these play to earn companies because like they don't believe that it can give them a livelihood anymore. And with what RK shared earlier, there are those dubbed as AAA games that never flew and the money's gone. Like, what is keeping Imperium Empires from going the same route?
I think it's just that a lot of the play to earn games is just that either the earning model doesn't really work, so you promise everyone kind of like a 30 or 10-day payback on the investment, so the tokenomics doesn't work, it's going to blow up really fast, or you trying to do something that is too grand and it's going to take 10 years to do that. So either way, it's not going to work. So that's why it's really important to focus on what I believe the next step for all the blockchain gaming projects out there is to really polish the tokenomics and think about the play to earn model, how to make it more sustainable. So what I think for the next steps for blockchain gaming to evolve is actually to evolve from a model where everyone could be earning the same amount of money, just like some of these click to earn games. Like you have 10 energies every day, and then you log in 5 times a day, and then you click 10 buttons, and everyone gonna earn 100 tokens. So these models are not gonna work anymore. So in the future, you can imagine it's something like an esports model where you have a lot of players playing the game, but it's only like the top earning players. They will be able to earn a sizable amount of the play to earn rewards, but the game itself is also fun to play. So for the players who really don't make it up to the top leaderboard, they wouldn't think that, oh, like it's just a waste of time. Like every time I play, I don't really get the rewards. So because the game is actually fun itself, so you don't even think it that way. Like for the traditional games, that has a esport mechanism. So even for players who don't really make it up to the top leaderboard, they will still continue to play the game. So I think that actually it's a much more sustainable model because on one hand, it's going to retain the player base because the game is actually something that people will resonate with. They also see there are a lot of streamers that will stream the game. So that also create a kind of social element to playing the game itself. And on the other hand, the top earning players, the skillful players, they can also be able to earn a lot based upon their skills. So yeah, I think this is just the most sensible way of how blockchain game in the future will go.
Got it. Got it. That's good. I mean, ikaw ba, Marv, what do you think about that? Do you think that there are going to be games that are going to go the distance, like 5, 10 years down the road, and they're still being played and they're still sustaining livelihoods for people who are gamers? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I was younger, that was the dream, right? To just play games and make a living out of it and be able to provide for a family out of the game. But this is like this is so surreal in a sense that it's actually happening right now. Not yet perfected, but it's happening right now. What do you think about that? Bro, nakamute ka, master. Sayang yung tao mo. Nakamute ka. Marv, nakamute ka, Marv. Teka, unmute ko.
Okay na. Okay na. So,
Ayan.
bring it back, zoom out. I was saying, magkaiba tayo ng pangarap kasi ako pangarap ko lang dati magka-love life na may pumatol sa akin. So, I never dreamt of having the ability to earn from games. Pangarap ko lang na someone will love Marvin Germo. So, that was my biggest dream in life. But, yeah, I agree with that. Similar to what we've been talking about earlier, that it's the games that people like to play, which will be sustainable over and over the long term. It's the ones that people stay within the ecosystem, not just playing for a while, but there are incentives for them just to be there. The stickiness, like what Cliff said, the stickiness, people being retained inside the game. So those are the ones that will I guess do well over the long term, and that's one of the reasons why 12 years in I'm still playing StarCraft 2 because and if you look at it, it's a national sport even in Korea because it's something that people like to play. So something like that, something that develops a following, but beyond the following, something that people like to play. So something like that.
You know, I'm wondering why these existing games that are so addictive, the games we grew up with, like for example, StarCraft, why aren't they turning their game, porting it into the blockchain and making money, or making it into a play to earn game in a way? Because StarCraft 2 is like mostly PvP anyway if you're playing it online, no? Sorry, wait, Marv, you're mute. There you go.
Microsoft owns Blizzard already, so I don't know what they're gonna do with that. So I
Yeah.
don't know. But
Yeah.
so I think I forgot to say this. I think there will be two teams. One is those crypto related companies that will build games off scratch, and then you will have also those traditional gaming companies make games as well. So I think that's where it will branch off. But yeah.
Yeah. All right, before we move forward, just want to share with you guys who have just tuned in that we are giving away some stuff tonight. What stuffs are those? Those are going to be the Imperium Empires tokens. And that is going to be 5 winners of 200 IMEs. You have to research on what that's worth on your own, but it is going to be worth a good amount when the IME game has finally launched, hopefully by Q3 of this year or Q4. Somewhere there.
Yep. So actually, in fact, in Q2 and Q3, we could be launching the alpha version and the beta version respectively, where the players can already start earning their play to earn rewards. So Q4 is going to be our full game launch. But in order to play our game and start earning the play to earn rewards, you don't have to wait until Q4.
Yep, perfect. So, in the Alpha Fast Pass, we're gonna award it to one winner tonight. So, if you are someone who might have already invested in IME or you bought an NFT spaceship from Imperium Empires and you want to try out that NFT that you bought, you might just get to try it tonight because we are awarding in an hour the 6 winners for tonight's raffle. All you got to do is go to the link down there, leadme.ph/giveaway, enter your email address, follow the rest of the instructions for more raffle entries, and that's it. That's all you got to do. And right now, we have 25 contestants. We only have 25 contestants. So the chances of you guys winning are still pretty darn high. For those of you who are watching here tonight, do know the chances of winning still pretty darn high. Yeah, and it's so interesting that we are all looking towards a future where we think this is something that we can do, that P2E is going to earn, is going to make money. I'm wondering now, generally, largely, what does personal finance advisors think about crypto gaming and cryptocurrency in general? Tony.
Biggest challenge of crypto or just blockchain tech in general is getting normal people to understand why it's useful for them. Because, for example, I can easily explain to my to my grandma that the internet is just like a big library, right? And she would totally see the point and the convenience of the technology. But when you explain crypto, when you explain Bitcoin, they understand there's money in it. There's no central institution to trust. You can store it in a hardware wallet or a paper wallet, but then when you lose it, it's gone. So when you explain it that way, of course, people would shut you out directly. So most don't really see the value of decentralization that blockchain holds. And most people are just fine with the banks, with fiat money. So a lot of people understand there's money in it, you can make a lot, but they don't understand its utility. So I would think that creating convenient applications will bring more people in. I mean, if you imagine a true decentralized election system with no possibility of fraud, I would say a lot of people would be more open, and a lot of people would actually see the benefits of blockchain. So that would be the barrier. And a lot of people don't also understand the economics behind it. They always think there's a catch, which I think later on maybe Cliff could also explain to those who aren't, or who are still new in the industry but would want to get into these games, these play to earn games.
When you say there's a catch, Tony, what are some of those lingering thoughts when you say catch? Do you mean that it could probably just go up in smokes?
Can be. So there has been a lot, especially if you're on TikTok, which is the platform where I post content. A lot of people would share their experiences of how certain NFT games were rug pulled, how you can easily, I mean, it's the earnings aren't always as consistent. People don't usually show that side of the industry. And at the same time, people don't also understand that it takes a lot of time, it takes effort to actually master the games.
Yeah, that's a pretty good question.
Yeah, yeah. I think what is really important is to watch out for a few stuff, like, for example, the quality of the team. Like if you look at the background of a lot of the play to earn, like the teams doing play to earn games, they actually don't really have any game devs in their team. So might have done one or two crypto projects before, smallish projects. But if you look at the background, or some of the teams are even anonymous teams, so they just have a few of these avatars and then like some pseudo names, and yeah, you can imagine that there is basically no opportunity cost for them to really do kind of rug pull and then just take everything out. So yeah, I think definitely this is something that everyone need to watch out for before they put in their money in the games that they want to invest in. And of course, also kind of look at the sustainability of the play to earn model as well. So I'm sure you have seen these some other games, like for example, that used to be very popular, like Crypto Plays or Crypto Mines. They were able to get like hundreds and thousands of players in just 2 or 3 weeks time, because they basically promise you that you're gonna get your investment back in maybe 10 days, 30 days. But if everyone is getting their investment back in 10 days, who is actually paying out the money? So that's a big question, right? So yeah, if you look at the sustainability of these models, just don't fall for it thinking that you're going to be the person that you're going to get the investment back in 10 days. Most likely, you're just going to become the exit liquidity where like people who got in earlier before you, that's going to use the money that you invest in to get back their investment. So yeah, I think these are the two key things that you're going to be looking for before you just put your money in some of these play to earn game projects.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense. Now, Cliff, Imperium Empires is in the Avalanche blockchain, right? So not now the Avalanche blockchain is getting a lot more traction. Used to not be. I don't think that it was as noisy as it is now. Now, I want to ask Marvin the question: what's your take on the Avalanche network? Do you like it? What do you think are the advantages of it, maybe over Ethereum?
Okay, so full disclosure, I'm a big fan of Ethereum, and please do note that whatever we're seeing right now, whatever smart contract blockchains that are coming out, from Solana to Cardano to Polkadot to FTM and everything else in between. The reason why they exist is that there are a lot of scalability issues for Ethereum. It's costs to make a transaction are relatively more expensive. Ramon King knows this. Whenever we would mint NFT, sometimes it's the gas fees are just way too expensive. In especially for a high ticket project. But that being said, what I like about Avalanche is when you look at how they distributed their chains. There's a specific chain that's primarily for smart contracts. There's a specific chain that's primarily for governance. There's a specific chain that's primarily that functions as where transactions or sending just assets to will actually be done. It somehow makes it faster, and somehow will it doesn't congest the network similar to say Ethereum where everything is passing through one highway or one blockchain. And then if you look at it also in terms of when a transaction gets done, Avalanche is one of the fastest networks also in terms of the when that transaction gets finalized, that the entire time it gets sent from one point to another, they're one of the fastest. So Avalanche treats a lot of the scalability issues that Ethereum at its current form. No, please do note Ethereum is also trying to transition into E 2.0, but it's trying to fix all of the scalability issues that Ethereum does not have. So the longer it takes for Ethereum to transition to E 2.0, it's more favorable for a lot of the projects that are actually building. And I think one of the things that I look at also in projects are the builders, the apps that are being built on top of it. And Avalanche has it. Avalanche has a lot of projects, but not just projects, funding, but not just also projects and funding, people who are actually there, uh, building, designing, and similar to what's happening to Imperium Empires, players in the game. So one of the ways for you to judge a certain technology is are people actually using it, because you could have the best technology but you don't have any you don't have dapps yet, or you don't have anything working, or you don't have people using it. Then no matter how good your technology is, if it's not being adopted, then it may not be as good. So I think Avalanche has a lot of those things, a lot of the good things that are inherent in a lot of blockchain projects. And the fact that there's a lot of developers also moving to the space, and the fact that they have so when Imperium Empires was coming out, one of the discussions that we talked about why Imperium Empires went into Avalanche, Cliff said because they can use EVM, and that's I think one of the biggest advantages, because it allows people also to just copy paste whatever's going on. So it creates a faster way for apps just to be used in the platform as well. So it will be a race on who will be the fastest. But I think the longer Ethereum delays, the more all of these eat killers have a chance to win.
How long do you think will Ethereum take pa for ETH 2.0?
They're saying they're saying this year, but they've been also saying that last year. Then they keep moving it because it's a very I think it's a very complicated procedure what they're doing. But it's so the biggest analogy that I got from it is that you're flying a plane and you're trying to change everything while the plane is already running. So that's what makes it a bit complicated. And uh, so people need to realize this, that blockchains are just like things that are below the hood. It's just like also connecting to a network. You don't ask anymore what cell site you're connected on, and sometimes people will value what are the apps that are built on top of it more than the inherent blockchain that's there. So if a lot of people are playing Imperium Empires in Avalanche, then that's a win already for Avalanche. So whoever builds the best apps and gets more users will win.
Got it. And ikaw naman, RK, I just want to ask from a real estate salesperson and investor perspective, why would someone who's investing in real estate would want to invest pa in play to earn and crypto and investments in the blockchain?
Actually, it's a very good question, Sean. Yeah, coming from a real estate background where a lot of people are very conservative because real estate is it's a tangible asset, something that you can really see. It has a title attached to it, as opposed to what we invest in the metaverse, and in NFT and play to earn games in crypto. I guess the reason would be their risk appetite, right? Because some of the people that I know are investing heavily in real estate, who are on the younger age of the spectrum, no, are more open to invest in NFTs, in play to earn, in cryptocurrencies. And these people who are, diversifying their investment portfolio have been, I could say they're succeeding in a sense because they know the differences between, playing it conservatively and playing it more aggressively. Like with any investment, you just have to make sure that the money that you put in is something that you can afford to lose in a sense, right? Especially when it comes to crypto and P2E and NFTs. These are very volatile investments that if you don't, take the time to study, you don't take the diligence to really do your own research and try to learn who are the people behind it, right? And the structure behind the game, the tokenomics, everything. Um, then you're bound to lose a lot of money. So I guess in real estate, like for example, like in NFTs, I don't know if you've heard about this, but one of the utilities that's very exciting that I can really relate to is that there's this company called Propi who recently sold a real estate property in Tampa, Florida, using NFTs. No, so the buyer, they just auction it off in their website, and then the buyer just bought it through NFTs, right? And they didn't have to go through all the paperwork. With just a press of button, they were able to get ownership over the property. So these are the things that are very exciting for Web 3.0. And I guess as more people, as more developers, build utility behind it, and as more people tend to have more faith in Web 3.0, I guess the sky's the limit in terms of potential. So being early in the game and learning, which particular investments, which particular investment vehicles, which particular games would likely succeed in the future would put you in a better position to capitalize on this in this revolution that we're currently encountering.
Got it. I have a question for Ramon King, no. So this is I want your answer top of your head right now. What would you buy right now? Azuki at 26.66 or Mutant Ape Yacht Club at 26.23? Uh, what would you buy?
I would still go for Mutant Ape Yacht Club
Okay.
because I think it's still backed by Basie, right? And having that strong connection to Basie would give it a higher chance of really propelling forward because Azuki is quite new.
Okay. Okay. Good answer kasi nakasalalay friendship natin sa answer mo. Joke lang, but uh, I was
Di,
just curious.
di mo na kailangan yun, Marv. Di mo na kailangan yun.
And then naman sa misinformation.
Okay. So, Marvin, I know you bought land in Web 3.0, no? You bought some land, some pixel land.
Not just me, Ramon also, but yeah.
Why'd you guys what's the principle behind buying land in Web 3.0? Why would someone do that?
So Ramon, we both we bought from different projects. Maybe Ramon can answer first because he has like a 500 million US dollar portfolio already, so he can answer it better.
That's not true. Don't believe Marvin. Yeah, I also invested in real estate, digital land though, in the metaverse. One of the first ones I actually invested in is Treeverse. It's a small plot that allows you to have access to the game. Up until now, actually, they haven't released the game yet, but the price has been very stable. I think it sits at around the 1 ETH floor price right now. So that's one, and then we also invested in Sandbox, me and my friends. Uh, but the most successful one I would say would be NFT Worlds. We invested in it like last year around October or something, and then just a good friend of mine shielded to us, and we just got two plots each, and then we were surprised like earlier this year that they released tokens, they released airdrops, and the value for each airdrop was already six figures in the sense in terms of pesos, right? Not not counting the amount of the land which has really gone up and it's considered to be, I think, the top 20 NFTs right now in OpenSea. So, like like what Marvin mentioned in his previous videos, if you follow him, you know, the metaverse land really has utility because once you like in NFT worlds, it's really based on Minecraft, right? So if you build a game, if you want to build a game in NFT world, you can do it. If you have the resources, the expertise, the people behind it to make a game, you can do it. You can do your own play to earn game. You have your own token there. You can build an entire ecosystem, your own tokenomics, whatever you want to do. And it's easy to do it because um, Minecraft is already there, and you can really apply the system that's in place already. Apart from that, there's natural resources there that you can mine. You can rent it out if you don't want to build the game yourself. So, like what you see in the actual, in real life, in in the world that we're living in right now, where you have a plot of land, you can lease it out to an investor or a developer, you can sell it, right? It's the same concept in the metaverse. So, the winners will be the first movers, the first one who will come into the project because they'll be able to capture the lowest price possible. And then as the game develops, as the ecosystem develops, as more people come into the game, of course the demand will become higher and higher. So I guess that's my take on why people are investing in digital land, so to speak.
Hmm. Ramon said it already. Some of my answers Ramon said already. One of my motivations, particularly for Sandbox, was it was like Minecraft. So it was under the context of if this has so many users in Web 2, it's easy for them to transition into this in Web 3. And true enough, no, I've seen a lot of people, mga 20, 30 years older than me, 10-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 7-year-olds, building voxel art already in Sandbox because they understand it. They did it already in a lot of in a lot of other Web 2 projects as well. So it was more of that you have the ability to be able to build. And then for Sandbox before, because if you own land, you could stake it, and then you could have a multiplier of your Sandbox tokens. Second is there's a lot. No, there are some projects kasi that give you airdrops off of the land that you own, and the airdrops alone are like dividends already. So yeah, but what Ramon did not mention that's somehow fascinating to me is this. For example, Ramon King wants to migrate to say Portugal. He can take his land wherever he wants because it's already in the blockchain. It's no hassle already for him. He doesn't need to have a caretaker watch for the piece of land. He doesn't need to, if he wants to sell it, he can sell it quickly. No hassle already. So there's a lot of efficiencies in buying land in the blockchain, in the metaverse, for the very fact that it's liquid. You can sell it anytime. Your target market where you sell it, it's not just based on a specific geography. You can sell it to whoever person in the world. So there's a lot of efficiencies for it. And um we're not going back, eh. I don't think we're gonna go back 2025 and people will say, ay hindi, let's revert na lang, let's not do the metaverse anymore. This is not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen, eh. We're just gonna move forward in this, eh. So yun, I don't know what will be the best ones in the next 20 years. No one knows, but you know that you spread everything, diversify it properly, and then there will be certain positions there that will do well, unless it's Imperium Empires, because Imperium Empires cliff is very good, so the project is very well also. So
I have two things to say about that. Number one, Marvin, I know you bought a lot of land. I,
no,
I think you bought the entire
wait, wait,
BGC,
wait,
right?
wait. I did. That's another one pa pala. Oh, that's a Earth replica naman. Yeah, that's
There you
another
go.
metaverse
So
project. Yeah.
you own the entire BGC in Earth
No, no,
Replica.
no, 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 no. Someone bought it, not selling to us. So the first one, like what Ramon said, the first mover advantage, the first person who bought it, not selling. So no matter how much kahit anong bid, wala, eh. Wala.
I'm sure you
But I
bid a
bought
lot.
I bought your street in BF. So ano, I bought SEO hacker building also.
Hindi nga.
Joke lang, hindi ko binili.
Pero
Joke lang.
what could
I
you
give
do?
it.
What could you do with that? What could you in that specific metaverse?
It's fun eh. It's fun. So, but just for motivation, they have a launch pad eh. So the launch pad give you access to their tokens also. So that one, and then yun, it was just fun. Like what Cliff said, what will make you stick to a certain ecosystem is you enjoy doing it, and I enjoy zoom in, zoom out. So what I did was yung mga areas where I visited or nag-vacation over the past few years, yung mga landmarks that I could buy, I bought it, so at least may souvenir ako on places where I had vacations with in the metaverse also. Tapos yung mga yung katulad ng bahay mo, yung mga gusto kong bilhin para masabi ko na ano, I own Shanxi's house in the metaverse. Parang ganun.
Where'd
Yung
you fi- where do you find all of these crazy platforms that you invest in?
I don't know. Everything's online naman eh. So just everything's like what Ramon King said. And hindi niya pala sinabi, ako lang magsasabi to. Everything's on Discord. Everything's on Discord.
Like I'm
Everything's on
imagining you're looking,
Discord.
you're searching in Google about, where can I buy real land on the metaverse, something like that.
Discord, Discord. And then Ramon King chat room. Yun yung one of the best, ano. Meron pa, may games pa si Ramon King, Avaric Saga. Kwento naman natin yun. Joke lang. Anyway,
So, and the other thing I want to ask is, Marvin, I asked you earlier about Avalanche, why you like it over Ethereum, but I didn't get to ask Cliff that same question, and I think Tony has the same sentiment. Cliff, why'd you choose Avalanche over any of the other blockchains out there, especially with Ethereum being the most popular one?
Yeah, I think one of the major reason is Marvin already mentioned that it's EVM compatible, so developing on Avalanche is actually a lot easier compared to some of the newer chains that also has fast transaction speed, but isn't really compatible with the EVM. And another thing is if you look at gas fees, because I mentioned before that for blockchain games to be able to reach the mass market, because if you look at the gaming market, there are actually over 3 billion gamers on Earth. But how many of those people have tried blockchain games? Actually, just a tiny bit. So, say for example, if you look at Axie Infinity, that's basically the most popular NFT game out there. The peak daily active user, I think, is just around 2 million something. So it's less than 0.1% of all the gamers on Earth. But in order for us to, or any other blockchain games to really onboard the wider population of gamers, we have to solve the affordability issue. Because currently a lot of the NFT games out there, even for the entry price, the four NFTs that they're selling is like 200 or 500 USD. That is actually a huge barrier for the conventional gamers, where like even a AAA title on Steam, you're basically just paying for $60 or 60 or 70 US dollar for that. So that's why if you look at the gas fee on Ethereum, just doing a single transaction may have already cost you one third of that amount. So that's why just moving it to these newer chains like Avalanche help us really a lot to lower the gas fees where players are paying for. Because when the players pay for the gas fee, they actually get nothing in return. Your NFT is not going to look nicer, your NFT is not going to be more powerful. But the gas fees on Avalanche is actually very low. It's a lot of times less than one US dollar. So that's why we can price our NFTs much more reasonably to attract a much larger player base, which is very important for blockchain games to really attract the wider gaming audience. Because I think no matter how large the crypto native space is, the crypto native population is only it's going to be a tiny bit of compared to the larger gaming population where a lot of people actually do play games on a day-to-day basis. So that is one of the reasons why we picked Avalanche as the blockchain that we're building our game on.
That's a lot of reasons, and very, very good reasons as well at that. Now, for those of you who are here and who have been in the chat box participating, we see you, we hear you, and we are so glad you're here. There's a Scooty gang here, Cliff. There's a lot of people there's a lot of people in the IME universe who are here, and we're so happy to see you guys. We see you here. Okay, just so you guys know, we see you. We're reading your comments. Patrick, thanks for being here, and oh, si big fans mo, Marvin. Oh yeah, di ba? The millionaire. There you go. Keith, thanks for being here. Deng, Jim, all you guys, we see you here. And I just want to share for, um, I guess this is going to be the last time I'm going to share this because it's just 34 more minutes to go before we finally pick the six winners of those who will get 200 IMEs and the pre alpha fast pass so that you can try the Imperium Empires game for yourself. I've tried it out. I already gave my reactions and thoughts to the Imperium Empires team and for 4 months of development. And I am a gamer. I play a lot of games in my time. It's pretty darn impressive. That's what I could say. So yeah, please to join the giveaway. It's so easy. Just enter your email, follow the rest of the instructions there. But once you enter your email, you're in the raffle already. And we are going to pick the winners in 33 minutes. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, we got more questions. Marvin, you got a question. Go ahead. You're on mute. You're on mute, master.
I have a question for Cliff. First of all, congratulations. I've seen a lot of your videos. No? The graphics are really, really good. But my question is for your NFTs. So you have Orostar or Greer. My question is for a lot of people who start buying those NFTs, what would be the competitive advantage of those that buy the ones? I know your ships. No, the more expensive the ships, the more slots that it will actually have. So the more weapons you could possibly have also. But what would be the advantage of the ones also that would buy the not so expensive ships that have lesser slots in it? And then what would on the flip side of that, those that have more slots also, uh, how do they? I guess number one, go forward in the game, or what would be their incentive also to get the I guess higher priced NFTs as well?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. So if you look at the different across our different NFTs, they actually have these different stats. So some of the larger ship, they are actually more suitable for these large scale PvP combat, where it basically serve as the main firepower if you're going on this guild war where you have hundreds of players battling with one another. So definitely you're gonna need the larger size spaceship. And but you can imagine that just similar to what happens in the physical world. So for the large spaceship, it's actually going to move slower. So so that's why it won't be as good compared to like the smaller ships where you just want to travel fast to other regions. You want to do ambushes. You want to do mining where you saw that, for example, there are really lucrative resources in one region. You're gonna just go there as far as possible, pick the resources and go before the others discover you. Then you actually gonna go for the smaller size station. So, and as for the customizability, even if like you mentioned correctly that for the smaller size spaceship, they're gonna have less slots, but there are still lots of combinations of how you're gonna be customizing your spaceship. So I think it's being an MMO game also kind of solve part of the problem where a lot of the NFT games are just pay to win games where you just buy the most expensive NFTs and then you play these one versus one PvP battle or three versus three. This is just something like happening in a game. I'm not sure whether you guys have heard about a game called Satan Arena, where they have a pretty good real like they have a mobile game that they developed a few years ago and they adapted that for being a blockchain game. But they really had problems in terms of how they kind of let how they should segment the players, like the most powerful players with the legendary NFTs can actually fight against the players with just a entry level NFT. So definitely that's not going to work. But for us being an MMO game, which involves a lot of players fighting at the same time, you can actually um, help to solve this problem. Like if you have a group of smaller size spaceship and then you run into these large spaceship, you definitely won't fight with the large spaceship head to head. But as your speed of your spaceship is faster than the larger ships, you can actually leave. You just see the larger spaceship and go elsewhere. So there's actually a lot of tactics and strategy between how you can play the game well and earn the maximize your play to earn rewards.
Got it. A follow-up question. So, scooties, scooties or your other higher ticket ones like or Greer or Star, what would be more advantageous, buying a lot of the cheaper ones or buying a few of the more expensive ones? Because the reason why I ask that is, for example, for Axie, some people don't really see an edge for the more expensive ones. So it from a revenue model, they just buy a lot of the cheaper ones and have more scholars there. For Imperium Empires, how does it normally go? Would it be more prudent to focus on the larger ones already and then forgo yung smaller ships, or what would be a good mix also?
Yeah, yeah. So actually, it depends on what your strategy or your play style for our game is going to be. So, for example, if you're the kind of person that really want to focus on the PvP side, because you can imagine that for our PvP side, where there are these seasonal guild tournaments, the rewards actually going to be way higher compared to the PvE side if you can make it up to the top leaderboard. So you can imagine that if you want to excel on the PvP side, definitely everyone going to be chasing for these rewards. So you're definitely going to need, and the PvP side, it's completely combat focused. So as I mentioned before, for the larger sized spaceships, they're going to be much better in combat compared to the small size spaceship. So you will definitely need the larger size spaceship if you want to climb the leaderboard for our PvP guild battles. But if you're more the kind of passive side, passive income kind of earning, you don't aim for the highest rewards on the PvP side, then you can actually focus more on the PvE side where mining the asteroids is going to be the main activities there. So you probably can think about having a larger fleet of the smaller spaceship where you can just be nimble and then do these mining in the different zones that the ships can go into. So yeah, definitely it's a strategy that you need to work out not only for yourself, for the guild member as well. Because later, when after we finish developing our guild management system, you will be able to start building, like starting and recruiting guild members for your guild. So it's something that you should probably discuss with the guild member as well. So maybe you're gonna focus on buying the larger size spaceship to and so the combat aspect because you're better at that. And then some other players are actually gonna be doing the mining aspect and finding the resources to fund your combat that you're gonna play in the combat zone and war zone and fight against other guilds.
Got it. Thank you for that. Thank you.
All right. Now, Tony, I think you have a follow-up question for that. Hold on. We can't hear you. There you go.
Hello. Yeah, it's not a technical question about blockchain itself. It's more about the game. So I know there's an option for you to choose which level depending on your risk and reward ratio. Do you have any tips for those who want to enter the war zone? Let's say for those who are ready to get into that, maybe that could be a treat for the viewers here as well. But I understand if you can't disclose that too.
I think just make sure that you practice first in the safe zone and you know the risk before you go into the war zone because in the war zone there's actually risk that your spaceship can be destroyed. So that's why I think initially I think it really depends on your risk appetite as well as your skill level. So I also advise that, for example, if you're going to the war zone, just make sure that you have a guild and you have guild members supporting you. Because if you go into the war zone alone, then probably you're gonna be the major target of everyone. Because everyone they have the guild members supporting them, and then yeah, you just a lone wolf. Then probably that's not gonna work. So yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, if you go to the war zone, be prepared to lose your NFT.
but actually, it's these kind of high stakes battle. Actually, it's some players actually like that because there's actually very difficult to replicate these kind of high stakes battle in a traditional non blockchain game because for the traditional non blockchain games, a lot of the game asset they don't really cost that much compared to the NFTs in blockchain games. So even if you lose your game asset, and a lot of these game asset, they have unlimited quantities, right? So it's not like you're gonna lose your oral star in the war zone then. So everyone's basically they have certain stake before they gonna start these battles. So I think it's also some experience that you wouldn't be able to experience when you play a traditional non-blockchain game.
Are there guilds already that have formed, Cliff? Because like I'm seeing some people here have guild names.
I think I saw quite a lot of people are talking about like forming their guilds already in our Discord group. It's definitely a good sign to see because we are already developing our guild manager system and we'll open up for guild registration once that's ready.
There we go. Wow. And someone's asking, when are we going to fly in space before Elon?
Actually, our pre-alpha registration has already started. So if you want to experience the game, you can just register for our pre-alpha. Just go to imperiumempires.com and then register an account there, and then you will be able to register for the pre-alpha. So our pre-alpha is already a playable game. Although you wouldn't expect there are a lot of gameplay there, so it's just kind of like a technical demo for us to test to make sure that our game side as well as the server side works. So, but if you want to have a glimpse of what our game looks like and what you can do in our metaverse, you can actually already sign up for the pre-hour demo, and then if we can accommodate and give you access to that, then yeah, it's actually a. Of course, I'm gonna say it's a pretty high quality game that you definitely find fun playing.
All right. And another question, we got another question as well. How will you promote IME since play to earn games is going anywhere? Different blockchain genre and strategies.
Yeah, I think what I've always emphasized is to focus on the unique selling points for Imperium Empires. As I mentioned before, we have these deflationary NFT supply mechanics through the comments on the war zone, where some of the NFTs can be damaged or destroyed, compared to most NFT games out there, where they always say that the NFT is limited in quantity, but you can always have these breeding mechanism where at the end of the day, the growth of the NFT supply is actually exponential. And so that's why it's no different from the traditional games where the game asset is hyperinflationary. So this is actually one of the biggest selling point that we have. And of course, I mentioned before, I've always stressed over and over again that the future of gaming, actually even current state of gaming, you can already see that social element is very important. You seldom see any games that make it up to the top charts on Steam or Play Store. It's a single player game, right? So after all of the popular titles, gaming titles out there, it's a multiplayer game because when you play a game, you actually want to play it alongside with your friends. So a lot of time when you go into games, even for games like Fortnite, you go into the game, you just don't feel like just go there and playing and shooting at one another. You actually just want to hang out with your friends. They even have concerts in Fortnite. So that's why it's really important that we have social element whether that's a traditional game or a blockchain game. So that's why we put a lot of resources in developing, in just putting our guild system as the central gameplay of Imperium Empires, and have this guild management system to make sure that players can actually play alongside with their friends. So they can build personal connection with the guild members, and that's going to be the key to retain players in the long term. Because if you just develop a habit that you're just going to play a game and hang out with your friends every time, every day, and yeah, it's actually going to make the game much more long lasting rather than other click to earn games where you don't really feel the social element at all.
Got it. And someone here is asking when's the next NFT sale, because I know that we just closed the first round, right? That's the first round with the Strike Dance and the Aura Star. And are we gonna have
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we actually sold out. So in our first NFT sale, there were around 17,000 spaceships that we sold, and all of them already sold out. So for those who missed our first NFT sale, just wait for it. I probably wouldn't say when it's going to be the next sale, but what you can do is that just follow our Twitter, go into our Discord group. When we have any updates, you'll definitely be the first to know.
Got it. And then there's someone here who's asking for a shout out. There you go. Your fans, Cliff.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks everyone, like Power Rangers, everyone in our community who have been supporting us, especially those who have been early in our community, even before we did our IDO, because we did our IDO back in December last year, and then before the IDO, there were already a pretty sizable community who has been supporting us since then. So really thank everyone for kind of supporting our project, and then we'll just do our best to deliver the project in accordance with the roadmap, and then make sure that all of you guys have a fun game to play.
Okay, and Tony and RK are going to try the alpha version of the games as well. I think that's gonna be next week when they're gonna be sending us the reactions.
Yeah, cool.
And Marvin hasn't tried it as well, no? Marvin, you haven't tried it, no?
I just got my alpha pass today. I think so.
Awesome. There
So
you
maybe in
go.
the next few days.
Let's go. All right. So now I'm wondering, what are some of the tokens and projects that you have invested in, Tony and RK? You know, we Marvin and I were quite often on the show, and Tony, I've had you like 3 times on the show. You corrected me on that last time we met. And RK, it's the first time I've ever had you here in the Leadership Stack live show. So I'm wondering now, what are some of the tokens that you guys have invested in? Can you hear me? Oh, sorry.
You're asking who will answer that. I think I don't know.
Oh yeah, anyone. Tony, yeah, ladies first, for sure.
Honestly, to be transparent, I have not invested yet in that space. So I'm still trying to learn more about it. And would you think it's best for me to start in the play to earn industry to know more about it?
I think for me, the best person who can answer you is the richest of the bunch, and that's Marvin Germo.
That's Cliff. Ano ba yan? Misinformation na naman. Cliff is the best person. Cliff is a gamer. So,
Cliff, he always does this to me when I'm the guest in his show. So he's the guest in my show now. I can say whatever I want.
so Cliff can answer. Cliff can answer it. But so for me, for gaming, no, I'm very selective. So there's a lot of gaming projects, but I'm very selective on the projects that I would want. So even for this, for Imperium Empires, Cliff knows how many times we did a call before everything, just to know more about how good the project is. Because there's so many projects out there. You would want to invest in something or get into something that the team is good, the roadmap is good, and everything else is. So there's a lot of games, but I don't try everything. I just go for the one that makes sense to me. So there.
So what would you what if you were to recommend like a couple to Tony just to
Ayan.
get her started, just to get her started?
Let's
What would be your recommendation?
billionaire's brain. Let's pick
Why,
their
why,
brain.
why, why why do we
Yeah.
go further pa if you're looking at the Avalanche network, there's only one triple A game in Avalanche. So you're baiting me lang siya to actually sabi Sean is baiting me to, there's only
I was
one triple
honestly
A game in
asking.
Avalanche. So
If you ask
so
me, ako, that's gonna be my answer, Tony. If you ask me,
oh
that's gonna be my answer.
so you go
Like,
to di ba you go to the top tier, you go to the top tier one. So it's the same question. For example, tinanong kami ni Ramon what NFT where will you look at for NFTs? We'll always say Ethereum. There's a lot of blockchains out there, but it will be for projects that were bigger. Like Bored Ape, they're all in Ethereum. Cool Cats are in Ethereum, etc. So similar for gaming in Avalanche. Um, Imperium Empires is the biggest one there. So you always want to go with the ones that have a lot of backing. I don't know if Ramon knows this also, but uh, Imperium Empires are backed by a lot of very very good institutions, trustworthy institutions, and those are the things that I look at. You look at the people who are backing them because they put serious money in it, and it also goes to show if they're putting their money in it, they also did their due diligence. So there.
yeah, yeah. In my case, I'm gonna. That's my answer because like I'm not like RK and Marvin who does a lot of research in the cryptocurrency space and NFT space. So I'm very limited, and I like being an all in. I'm an all in type of guy. So I'm pretty much invested in Imperium Empires. I studied it. I did a lot of call with Cliff as well and Leo. And for me, I really like the structure of their game, their roadmap, the vision of where their game is going. So yeah, that for me it's gonna be that. I'm very limited in my crypto portfolio. It's just very few places that I put my money in. But whenever Marvin gives me a heads up that I could invest somewhere, I usually listen to him because
Pero
he's
baliktad daw si Sean
yeah.
nag-share sa akin ng Imperium Empires eh. Kasi sabi niya, check out Imperium Empires, they have a very very good CMO. So sabi ko, sige, let's try. Let's give it a try. So
Actually just in this case, but in all the other cases, it's Marvin tipping me because you know he's a lot. You multiply my net worth by
teka lang, we have to
100
answer. Si Ramon will answer pa mga tokens nyo.
Okay, Ramon, go.
Baka si Cliff
Yeah,
na lang.
actually for play to earn, not that much. Just invested in ano lang, Axie Infinity. Currently, we're also invested in Luna Rush. We also tried Pegaxi for a short while. We're very lucky to have exited that before the drop. For NFTs, there's quite a bunch, you know. But one thing I've learned no, when it comes to investing in crypto, in NFTs, and play to earn, really have to spend a lot of time studying the project. Because in my case, even if I spent a lot of time researching the project, we still have moves that weren't as good, despite alam mo yun, putting a lot of time and resources into studying the project. So it's not just me who's studying the project. We even hire people to do this on our behalf because we can't do it full time. We even have people who help us get the white list for certain NFT projects. But the space is becoming more and more competitive right now. If you look at the Discord servers, what um, Marvin mentioned earlier, even in Twitter, it's swarmed with a lot of projects being released left and right, like on a daily basis. And unfortunately, there's a lot of scams out there, a lot of rug pull projects. So we need to be able to sift through the noise and be able to spot quality projects and learn to get into spaces or get into groups that have good alpha. Like we're very lucky because Marvin is here. He's our friend. He shares alpha to us, right? But if you have access to people like that who have, credible information, that would be really valuable in terms of choosing the right project for you. So yun.
And
All
ano na yan,
right.
madami na kaming napagdaanan ni Ramon, no? Meron kaming term na avaric na kami. And part of
Averrect. Averrect.
uh, yeah. Part of NFTs also is ano what people don't realize is you that's why it's so important to put in money that you're okay with it kasi there will be a lot of things that won't go the way you want it to go also, and it's not as liquid as trading kasi sa trading there's order books where you can just sell it anytime. If here wala even if you post it there's a risk that it doesn't get sold right away also. So I think those are things that people need to consider consider also. And I'll say this, and dami, Roman was saying yung games. There's so many games trying to be the next Axie or trying to be, we will be the next Board Ape Yacht Club. So everyone wants to be that. So yun.
Yeah, 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 and that's why we say only invest money you're willing to lose, diba? So that you can sleep well at night. But yeah, who wants to lose money, right? Nobody. But that is going to be one of the fundamentals of investment, and that's going to be your tuition fee pag it doesn't go the way you want. Now, Cliff, you have a question from the audience. Which project would you invest in if you're not CEO of Imperium Empires? I think this is a
Ooh,
very
good
interesting
question.
question.
I like,
Wow, that's an
that's a
interesting
good
question.
question.
So I wouldn't say like I would definitely invest into other projects, but some of the other blockchain gaming projects that I've also looked into and find them quite interesting. I'll just name a few. So, for example, Illuvium, they are also developing a AAA quality title. So they are on Ethereum and Immutable X. So I'm Immutable X is a layer two solution for Ethereum, also aiming for lower gas fees. I think they're actually doing Illuvium is actually doing a pretty good job in terms of really doing a high quality game. So I think they're also in beta testing stage. So you can also check that out. And some other projects they are also doing real games like Guild of Guardians and Ember Sword. So if you look at the kind of tier, the quality of the gameplay that they released. Some of those, because I think I really look for a project that already has even whether there's a alpha or beta, so at least a playable game, which is a real game, not a play to earn game, and also the quality of the gameplay and graphics that they're doing pretty well. I think these are the projects that you can also look into. And um, similarly to us, like we deliver something that really works, high quality gameplay, as well as not just like empty JPEGs and NFTs and not kind of, because a lot of projects just issue their NFTs and then they're not going to do their execution anymore. So yeah, I wouldn't say I would definitely invest into these projects, but these projects are quite interesting that you can also have a look.
And that is not financial advice. All right, we just gotta say that.
Yeah, spoken like a crypto channel na may mga ganung ano na.
Kailangan no? Kailangan sabihin yan eh. All right. So, guys, I hope for those of you who are tuned in that you are learning and that you have gotten value out of this. Again, we are giving away some IMEs tonight and the Alpha Pass. All you got to do is click on that link down there and punch in your email address. So,
Ako may question.
yeah, we're down to our last two questions. And that's it. We're capping at 9:30, guys. And grabe, dami ko natutunan. Sige, Marv, go.
Okay, Cliff. This is for Cliff. This is for people to see how smart Cliff is in everything. Given the current sense of the market right now, we're seeing a correction today. What would be your strategy? Say for Bitcoin, for so remove all of the other cryptocurrencies, just Bitcoin. What will be your approach if you would be a person that want to stack Bitcoin right now?
Well, actually, that's an interesting question. Like a lot of people just ask me, "What do you think about the market?" But every time say that the crypto market is inherently volatile, so I will never be able to predict what's the going to be the Bitcoin price in like 24 hours later in 1 year's time. But I think just look at the long term trends. So if you look at what happened to crypto over the past 10 years, there are always going to be these ups and downs. But every now and then, there are always going to be new applications that came out. So say, for example, there's DeFi, and after DeFi, there are blockchain games, and then there's just going to be more and more innovation coming out of the Web3 space. So if you are just the one of the investors in the crypto space, I'll just say just don't really think about too much about the short-term volatility and fluctuations, and just focus on the long-term trends. Just look at the current adoption rate of crypto compared to the whole like gaming population, or just the all just the whole population on Earth. Like I believe at the end of the day, everyone's just gonna be on Web3, just like everyone's gonna be connected to the internet. It's no different. So at the end of the day, I think that's really important that if you believe in crypto, just hold your, whether that's Bitcoin or other altcoins that you have confidence in. Just make sure that you do your own research, and then you're committed into it, and then just hold on it for the long term.
All right. Good stuff. And I think that's gonna be down to the last question. Tony, RK, do you have any more questions for Cliff? Want to take that last question spot?
Ako not a question, but quick lang for you. What's your favorite color, red or pink?
And yeah, I red is good because red is avalanche, right?
Okay, got it. For Sean, what's your favorite color?
Red or pink then?
Okay,
Definitely red. It's in my logo, dude.
okay, got it. Got it. Curious lang. Curious lang.
Ikaw naman. SEO Hacker logo yan, red.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, it's 9:27. In 3 minutes, we're gonna be closing the raffle and drawing the winners. And I love the questions that all of you guys in the audience have also asked. I hope that you guys got your answers. Someone says, "Thank you for this fruitful evening." I hope you always have a fruitful evening, Edward, not just for tonight. And he says, "I'm learning a lot from the discussion. Thank you for being here." If you guys haven't subscribed yet to our YouTube channel, please do leadme.ph/YouTube. That's the link. It's going to be flashed down there by Lara. And yeah, we are going to be publishing this episode as well. So if you think you missed some minutes, or you might have come in at 9 p.m., missed the first hour, you might want to watch it back. We are going to be publishing this on the YouTube channel. The link is down there. Please hit the subscribe button. That helps us a lot. Okay. Grabe, Marv. Miss na kita. O, sige, this Saturday, ah. This Saturday, kita tayo, ah.
Sunday. Sunday.
Sunday ba? Oh, Sunday.
Oh, so
Sunday
guys,
lunch.
so Cliff, Antoinette Aquino, Ramon King, Sean will treat us for ramen. So Cliff,
Oh,
if you can
no
make your way
problem.
over here in Manila, yeah, Sean
Yeah.
will treat us
We
to
have
one
a
of the top
very good ramen here.
ramen
It's called
places here.
Pancit Canton.
Yeah,
It's called
so
Pancit Canton. Very
so
good
yeah, but
ramen.
Wow, I'm a big fan of ramen. I should definitely come over and meet you guys.
yeah. Sean will take you to
Yeah.
the top ramen houses here.
That's what Marvin did
Cool.
for me last time. So I owe him that. I owe him that. Yeah, but
Mm.
anytime. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I learned a lot. I'm sure a lot of people in the audience learned a lot. I love you guys. Thank you for being here, for accepting my invite. Tony, Cliff, Marvin, RK. I feel like I'm $1 million richer whenever I'm around you. And I thank you also for all the good stuffs that you're publishing out there, for paying it forward to the rest of the world. Thanks, guys. Take care and God bless. And for those who have joined the raffle, when the raffle ends, and that's anytime now. That's anytime right now. You will be able to see a list of names that is automatically drawn by the system already. So automatic name mapapublish, and or you're gonna get an email in your inbox. So I hope you use the right and legitimate email address to join the raffle. You will be able to get there, and we will be able to award you the IMEs and the Alpha Fast Pass via your email inbox. So check it out, wait for the email to come, and you will get notified. Thank you so much, guys. Take care and God bless. And I'll see you next week, 8 p.m. Thursday night.